Hello guys, welcome back to Life Like Igloo. I am Igloo, the life that is of. Today I have another video for you guys, obviously. And how's the family? How's the pets? How's the household? I'm Igloo, the life that is of. It's really good to see you again. And before I say anything else, I just want to quickly say, don't forget to comment what you think of this video once you've watched it, obviously. And if you like it, then like, and if you feel subscriptive, then you should subscribe, because that would really help me out, honestly. If you want to be part of that, I'd be very grateful. But yeah, without further ado, I have another video for you. And it's as much a question as anything else, because I have nothing figured out about this question. And it just occurred to me a minute ago, and I was going to film another video, but I decided to film this one instead. And that is asking the question, what is white culture? Yeah, heavy one. Maybe. I don't know if that's a heavy question or not. I've heard the phrase white culture used a few times now, and I'm not entirely sure in what. I'm sure I've been hearing, I know, like my wife watching TikTok or, seeing stuff on Reddit or that kind of thing. But every time I see that, I ask myself, and I try and think of how you can summarize it, but I cannot even begin to describe what you would call white culture. And all of the things that spring to mind, they're either really bad or they don't even apply, and you could dismiss it as another kind of culture. Like, because if you say white culture, if you name certain foods, I don't know, as an example, you might say like hot dogs or, I don't know, burgers or pizza or something like that. A food you consider white people food, or food that originated by white people, and I don't even know that's the case. But I'm pretty sure, for example, like you could say that's, like the hot dogs and the burgers, they're German culture. That, like Frankfurters and Burger is literally like German name. I think it means mountain or something like that, like Berg. So like you can't say that's white culture food. That's German culture food, and that's specific. People speak about white culture as if it's a thing. So it must have some sort of presence or description in some form or another. I just can't identify it, and this whole thing is just going to be me speculating or poking a bit of fun at it. But yeah, it's just so bloody weird, isn't it? I'm like 4 minutes into this video and I'm like still confounded. But that's one thing. How I said I wanted you to comment. For this video, I specifically would really like if you comment what you think an example of white culture is. It would make my day if someone wrote down a description of what they think white culture is. And I would legitimately address that or read that out in a following video, because a culture is just an idea. It's just a maintained, standard of what people think something is. And so what the hell do people think white culture is? I'm just staring off. Every time you see me stare off into the wall, I try and think of like anything that it is. And I can't think of it. Like racism? I don't know, like that's pretty omnipresent everywhere. There's bloody, Europeans, and which is very unfortunate. And I don't know if you could call that white culture. It's definitely prevalent in many white cultures, and I think that's maybe as close as you can get as a descriptive of something like that. But racism, that's one. Nuclear war. See, this is like, if I think of these things, this is just all the things I think of. It's like, oh no. But yeah, I'd love to try and think of a good thing as well. There's not much going there for good things. I want to make it a more balanced video, because I don't want it to just be like a character assassination video on that, but like maybe that's what it deserves. Who knows? I mean, I'm English, and I even struggle with English culture. Like, I can think of a few, English foods like fish and chips and that kind of thing. But food is part of a culture, but it doesn't summarize the culture. It's not the culture in itself. I was going to say being into the royal family or like something like that. But also, I'm way not into the royal family, and most of the people I know couldn't give a toss about the royal family, and we're all British, and therefore we have, you know, a British culture. But that's sure as hell isn't part of it, but that's maybe what people would use to describe it. So that's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Like, you can't, like, I thought, like, is white culture even a thing? And I honestly don't know, because it's so ephemeral and it's just an idea. But then you try and refine it down, and I think of English culture, and I'm like, what even is that? Because everyone is different. Like, that's one thing I really do accept, is everyone is very, very different, and literally no one is going to agree on everything or anything. That's one of my favorite parts about humanity, is that we have a crazy amount of variety, where humanity basically has all its bases covered, which feels like a really good thing to me. And you know, there's all of those people that would fit, that are British as well. Like every kind of person I just described, I guarantee there's that kind of person in Britain who are British. And there's no one thing tying them together, I think. Unless you specifically count the land you're standing on. But then people move around as well. I move around, so you know, I can't say that it's necessarily the land I'm standing on that's my culture. That's just wouldn't be accurate. And so I think maybe I'm just like the least qualified cultural anthropologist on earth, in the sense that it's not something I do and I have no qualifications for it. And I'm just being very clueless right now. I would be perfectly comfortable admitting to that, because I've spent this whole video. Are you okay, baby? I think she's okay. Anyway, the whole point is this whole video is basically me admitting ignorance of something, and that's why I wanted to just say again, I would really love, if someone is a cultural anthropologist, I would be absolutely chuffed if you commented in my YouTube comments and maybe gave a brief description, or just, you know, pointed me in the right direction on, or just, you know, some interesting bits of thought, you know, interesting bits of information for me to think about. I would be really grateful for that. Or even just, you know, if you're not a cultural anthropologist and just a regular person who has stereotypes of white people or British people, or what you think my culture would be, then, you know, let me know, because I would either be amused or interested or mildly offended, all of which I'm perfectly happy, you know, to experience, and I would love for you to be part of that as well. And honestly, I think now that question is asked and I've kind of gotten all my thoughts out, I think that's pretty much all I can say for this video. Like, I think I'm done. I think the result of this video, I just really want some people to comment and tell me what they think. So yeah, I look forward to that. And just as a final message, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Obviously, you know what I want you to comment. And most importantly, even more important than commenting, is going over to Spotify and listening to Sticky Bunny Weird. Yeah, that's pretty much all I want you to do. You would like Sticky Bunny Weird. They're an awesome artist. They are on Spotify, all the platforms, all of the things. You can find them. I know you can. I'm sure there'll be a link in my description as well. So I will see you again in the next time. Bye bye.